David, you've had a few weeks to adjust to life as an Ottawa Senator. How's it been?
Yeah, pretty good. We're finally moved in the house, I think last weekend. So it's nice to kind of enjoy the city and sleep in your own bed rather than be in a hotel there for a while with 3 kids. That was a lot. I think our mental health was going in the wrong direction, but now we're good.
And close to home too, which I'm sure
Yeah,
is good.
yeah, it's great. It's been good. My parents came a lot more. We've already had a lot of friends kind of locked down some weekends, some days where they want to come with their own families or whatever. And I think it's going to be exciting. My son is into hockey a lot. He's into the Sens already, and I think it's going to be a good time for him.
So talk to me about where you're at in this point in your career. You have aged like a fine wine. You've played some of your best hockey in your mid-30s. What do you think has been the key behind that success?
Yeah, well, I want to keep pushing for sure. I want to keep finding a way to be relevant and have a role on a team. Anything really you want to do at this point. And I think to have a leadership role and provide that, you have to still kind of pull your weight on the ice. You can't just be doing it in the room. And that's what my biggest focus, obviously, is being able to keep doing it on the ice so I can provide other things in the room. And no, it's going to be awesome this year. I think joining a young group, playing with Brady. I talked about my son. He's 9. When I played with Tkachuk, Brady was around that age, 8, 9, 10 years old. Played with him for 3 years. And to be able to play with Brady now, it's pretty special.
Does it make you feel old?
I don't even know what I think of it, quite honestly. Sometimes I see him walk around in the room or behind the wall and he's talking, and it's the same voice that Big Walt's got. So it's so funny. I already brought up a few stories to him about different things that happened when we played. How many times Big Walt pulled me in between the first and second period. He'd pull me in the hallway of the locker room, and I don't know, give me grief and all. Oh yeah. Big Walt's pretty good at doing that. And then kind of coming full circle and realizing all that he was trying to show me is what I'm trying to do nowadays. And playing with Brady doing it too, it's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. What a story. So when you come here, and obviously it's still early, you're still kind of getting your feet wet and getting to know everyone and see how they operate. But what stands out to you in terms of, maybe what this team needs a little bit more of heading into this season?
Yeah. Well, I think the additions that Steve Staios did over the summer, I think it's pretty clear he wants to have a more in-your-face type of mentality, I would say, in a sense, that bringing Nick Cousin, Jensen, myself, other guys, I think Amadio, winning experience guys. But I think we will try and provide our experience to the young guys. There's so much talent on this team. And when you're young, you're trying to establish yourself in the league. You're trying to establish your career, kind of what kind of player you'll be. And once you've done that, I think you have to turn the page into a different thing and being all about winning. And I think these guys are ready to do that here. Again, like there's so much talent, and it's kind of like going through all these little steps to understand what it takes to be successful every single night as a team.
So when I listen to Brady explain it, it's almost like you get to the league, especially at a young age, you're so excited to be there, right? And at first you're trying to prove that you can stick, and then you do, and you taste a little bit of success. But then is it complacency? Like, what's the next thing that comes when you said to kind of take that next step to your focus is only on winning? It's like, hey, that's what it's all about here.
I think it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of maturity that comes into play. Usually nowadays, 2 guys have signed contracts, so a lot of things that you worry about in life aren't as much a factor anymore. And
it's like a comfort, like you'd kind of.
Yeah, well, there is a little bit of that. Like you work your whole life to hopefully play in the NHL, play one game, and then once you've played one, you want to play and establish yourself maybe as a whatever you are. Like if you're a high draft pick, top 6 guy on the ice, and like you want to set yourself up for the future as well. So there are contract issues that sometimes come into play, but once all of that is kind of taken care of, the focus shifts into kind of back what you were doing when you were playing hockey, road hockey with all your buddies, trying to win a Stanley Cup. You want to do it for real this time. And I think that a lot of the guys now are going into their 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years on this team here, and they're ready to kind of get into that part of their career.
So, from a pure like talent perspective, what drew you here? Like, what made you want to come to Ottawa?
Yeah, so I mean, I felt like I had a pretty good leadership role in St. Louis, and then going to Detroit was a different type of leadership I had to provide. Very similarly, that I think what we have to do here. I felt like the team there, we made some really good steps, and then we saw that last year, almost making the playoffs, really all the way down to the last second of the season. We thought we were in it, and then I think it's very similar here. It's going to be an exciting time, and I had to learn a lot the last couple of years to kind of manage different things, manage young guys in a different way than in St. Louis. I felt like we were an older team. We were very experienced with kind of on our mind to win the Stanley Cup every year, and not that you're not trying to win the cup every year on any given team, but there are steps to get there. And I feel like my experience the last couple of years with Detroit is going to be great to add here. And maybe some of the small growing pains that even I went through that role, I think I'll be better in that sense for the next couple of years here.
So give me an example. Like, what's something that you think, from a leadership perspective, you think you learned that you could bring? Like, what maybe weren't you good at that now you think you could do?
Maybe in Detroit, I came in a little too hot, trying to not change everything right away, but you come in with the same type of expectation, and maybe you can ask Newsy, the Rec Lalonde. I was pretty intense in all aspects, really, and with him too. And we had a lot of good meetings. I think. Not that I would do anything differently, by the way. It's just we had to kind of get to know each other, all the whole team, the leadership core over there as well, and it was a great experience. I'm glad that Newsy had the patience with me and really helped me grow in that role. I think a lot.
So that same kind of intensity, you want to try and bring some of that, but also maybe do it in a more measured way. Is that the best way to explain it? Because this team probably needs some, like, they probably do need some of that.
Well, at times you need intensity, and you need someone to be able to say something or do something about. But yeah, there are a lot of situations that you have to be measured, and you have to know what you're doing. Teams are in different steps in where they want to go at different times. And in St. Louis, again, it was all about winning every single time. There was not one time I'd step on the ice and I wasn't thinking about winning the cup in a year, really, in the last several years I was there. So. And I think with Detroit, what the mentality was at times, and maybe different teams, like we didn't really want to talk about playoffs too much early on. And I was a big guy that I was like, no, we have to have playoff on our mind to even get there. If you can't talk about it, can't think about it, how are you going to get there? I just don't think you will. And I think at times I helped push that mentality over there, and at times I had to reel myself back and. You're not going to make playoffs necessarily in September and October. So that's those are little things, little experience I went through there that were different than years past. And I think I'll be better for this time around.
And then transitioning that to Ottawa, that might be a little bit difficult because on the one hand, you want that goal and that focus. But at the same time, this is a team that has had some scars, especially to start the season, that it's almost like you don't want to be overwhelmed or overwhelm them at the start because everyone knows here that you have to get off to a good start.
And everyone's a good hockey player, and everyone's probably won at different levels. So we're all in this together, and I don't know. I'll see how it's going to go. Like I go back to when we were in Detroit, when I was in Detroit, and we played Ottawa here back-to-back games 2 years ago, and they beat us up pretty good. And I just felt like it was a moment where the Sens are going to finally take off. And I had that on my mind the whole time. I was having conversation with my agent, Alan Walsh, and he was talking to teams and the Sens and Steve Stais, and I just kind of couldn't shake off those two performances, how good they were. And I feel like the team can really take that direction fully. And even like Steve Yzerman had mentioned at the time that maybe the Sabres, maybe the Sens were ahead of the Red Wings in their development. I don't know if sometimes you don't know, injuries, trades, whatever. One decision goes south, and next thing you know, it changes the whole course of maybe your franchise or your development. So I don't know that I agree necessarily with that, but at the same time, the Sens have been part of they have a good core, and I want to be part of that.
Is it true that you're a hockey nerd?
I love hockey. I watch a lot of hockey, and now it's funny. I watch hockey through my son's eyes more than mine, and we've been watching preseason game, and he's been glued to the screen, just trying to understand little things, and I'm pushing little details on him that slowly but surely I hope he adds to his own game. I feel like in an odd way, it's not even about me anymore, even though I still play in the NHL, and I have just as much fun. And yeah, I would consider myself someone that thinks about hockey all the time. I just can't help it, really. But I would like to think I do a good job, though. When I go home with my wife and kids, other than my son, I don't bring home a loss. I don't bring home really even a good performance. I just come home and do my thing with them. So I think that's a good quality with the kids, that it helps you to just park it no matter what happens. And yeah, you might have your mind on hockey, but you can still get around the city and do different things.
So, but it's not just the NHL. You also watch the Q, right? You watch all hockey.
Well, I mean, like in the summer, like if there was a Q draft in Sherbrooke, and I went to see Alan there with my son. I want to provide experiences for my son. Really, that's what it's all about. I think his team next weekend is gonna go to St. Lawrence University, and I think we might have a day off. So I would like to go down there and check it out and be with him through the experience. I think I'm seeing myself more as a parent in that regard than maybe myself, and that's kind of what I see around the city here. There's AAA hockey, the Myers Hockey Club. The other day we watched 1 or 2 period, and again, I like to watch the kids. I can't believe how skilled they are at this age compared to maybe what I was, or maybe even 10 years ago what kids were. So it's really impressive, and I think it's all about providing good experience for myself and through my son's eyes, really.
But I'm told you're a hockey savant, though. Like you know Q rosters. You could name the third line left wing on some team somewhere.
Not in junior.
You're not studying it like that?
Not in junior. When I was younger, probably. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you tested me, I'm worried to do that right now on camera. But definitely like stats, careers.
But you're watching the NHL, though. Like when you're at home, are you watching games at night?
Yeah, pretty much all the time. I just I find too now when the kids go to bed around 8:30, and it's kind of your peaceful time. You can finally just do what you want for a couple hours. And I especially last couple of years, find myself just putting a game on, and
I'm sure your wife
learn
loves
a lot.
that.
Well, she's going to bed pretty early too with the kids. We're busy, so I think we kind of have activities all the time with them. And then right now she's pregnant, so she's going to bed pretty early. Yeah, no, it's interesting. You pick up a lot of things from other players, like seeing Austin Matthews come in the league, and Connor Bedard, and the way they shoot the puck, they change the angle. And that's something I was able to add probably 7 years ago, playing with Jonathan Marchessault in Vegas. I changed to his stick, softer flex, different curve. I feel like my shot, my release has been a lot better since then. And if you don't pay attention around you, I feel, how do you get better? Like you have to be stubborn to a point where you're confident in yourself, but you have to be able to watch around and kind of see what does Austin Matthews do so well that he scores 70 goals a year. And even as a young guy, you could see how impressive his shot was. So I was just all the time, I'm trying to see what is the new tendency in the league and how can I stay relevant through this. One more point, I would say like Joe Pavelski, Corey Perry, 2 guys that really helped me. Not the fastest skaters, and I'm not either. And how are they still so effective? How was Joe Pavelski so effective until the end of last year, really? Now that he's retired, and how is Corey still relevant? I want to try and kind of do the same thing.
Do you think that pure love of the game that you have is what's fueling your success?
Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, and I've noticed this from afar. I think there's probably like 30% of this league that loves it the way like you do. And then there's a lot of guys that are just really super talented that this is just a paycheck.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment? Maybe not the percentages, but like, can you tell guys that may not love it as much as you do?
Yeah, but you respect everyone. I think that's the best part. Everyone can be what they want to be as far as their relationship with the game or whatever. Like, I think that's what makes it so good. Everyone can have their own ways, their own reason why they made it to the NHL, and whether they go home and they completely park it and never think about it. I'm not sure that's possible, but if they do, good for them. I just feel like so many people have built this game, the history of the game, and it's something that you watch since I'm 5-6 years old. I'm so passionate about it, and I really don't know that much else. So I would like to think it's bigger than 30%, but it's probably right. There's not the same level of love for the game, but it doesn't have anything to do with maybe the skill level. Some guys can just get it done and then go home and maybe worry about other things. I'm not sure.
Well, probably comes and goes too. Like you fall in and out of love as the season goes on, as the summer goes on. I'm sure it changes.
Yeah, but I do think for sure that when you love something enough that it's not just all about salary or playing in the NHL or whatever, like it's going to make you more resilient, whether it's hockey or other things in life. I just feel like that'd be natural to think that if you like what you're doing that much, you're going to find ways to stick around maybe a little bit longer than the next guy who doesn't. And I would like to think that you win championship with those guys, maybe more, because they're going to be willing to put that extra effort in the right time.
I have zero doubt. David, love your passion. You will be as relevant in this game as you want to be. So thanks so much for your time, and best of luck this season.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Saravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.